in the area. So, for instance, you have the Moors who are, one of the ethnic groups in Kintampo, which lays claim to ownership of land in the area. You have the Bono and also the Wangara. Now, the feudal factions are actually the Moors and then the Wangares. The Wangares, we are informed, are intent on celebrating an annual festival, and which coincides with the celebration or observance of some customary rites by the Moors, which requires that some period of silence is observed in the township, which hasn't gone down well with the Wangares. And so that is where the tension is arising from. Now, the two ministers appeared before the committee as per the Speaker's directive today in the morning, and they are the ministers for Interior and National Security. They briefed us about the situation on the ground. The member for Kintampo was in attendance. We asked relevant questions, and at the end of it, all the two ministers gave us the assurance that they had deployed sufficient numbers of police officers to maintain peace in the area, whilst the rest of the issues, which cannot be resolved by them, claims to land and chieftaincy-related matters, are supposed to be dealt with by the law court. So they expect that appropriate fora would be used to resolve such conflicts. In the meantime, the assurance was given that the Peace Council would also be tasked to intervene and try to bring the feudal factions to reach some amicable settlement to the impasse, in the area.
So that's a decision that has been arrived at. It's not necessarily any directive to any of the ethnic groups to do anything or not to do anything.
No, they have not directed any of the ethnic groups not to do anything. Rather, what is happening is that the some arrangement has been put in place to ensure that the Wangaras do not celebrate their festival on the part of the land which belongs to the Moors, because the Moors are currently observing a period of silence. But if you know Kintampo very well, there is a part of the township which falls within the jurisdiction of the Bonus. So that portion that falls under the jurisdiction of the Bonus is where the Wangaras have been directed to perform their festival. So I think that was the, if you like, middle grounds reached in order to avert, violent incidents. So it is our hope that the two factions would comply with the directives given, so that the Moors are able to observe their, customary observance of silence, which would afford them the opportunity to pacify their gods, and also to allow the Wangaras to celebrate their festival at a location which doesn't fall within the jurisdiction of the Moors. I think that was the understanding reached as per the discussions had. The rest of the issues were intelligence related, and we cannot speak to those in public.
Okay. Do you need to present any report to Parliament for adoption on this, or your conclusion with them suffices?
No. Because the matters are intelligence driven. For instance, the Minister for National Security's briefings were based on intelligence gathered. We cannot present reports in respect of the intelligence related aspects. So we briefed the Speaker this afternoon about the outcomes of our engagement with the two ministers. So if the Speaker is minded, he might make further directives.
Okay, that's fine. Your colleague, and this on a different subject, your colleague and also Minister for the Interior, we understand, also appeared before the House to answer some questions. I don't know if you're minded to share with us what your perspectives were and whether he dealt with the issues that have been raised adequately based on the information you have, or you'd rather we just leave it at the defense and the Minister for National Security?
We spent most of the time at the committee, and after the committee sittings, when the minister left us, we stayed back to do our own in-house analysis of what had transpired. I mean, between us on the one hand as a committee and the two ministers, before we then proceeded to the minister's lobby to brief him about.
Okay, so you did not take part of the plenary discussion with the Minister for the Interior?
Yes, so I couldn't follow how his responses to the questions went.
Okay, that's fine. But again, because we are still talking about committees, the IGP's committee, what's the status? You are the vice chair.
Yeah, so the committee is done with its work. We would be looking at the report pretty soon. And once we agree on the content of the report, we'll put it before the plenary for its consideration.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Honorable James Agalga, MP Bulsan North, former deputy.